Okay, everybody, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to go ahead and get started. It's right at noon. So we're really happy that you guys all are here to be on this webinar with us. This is actually the first one of these that we've ever done. So we were really excited to have another opportunity to reach out to you guys and help answer any questions you might have before making the decision to come to Rollins. So just a few logistics up at the top. We are recording this, so if you want to go back and watch it, we will have it posted on our YouTube channel, usually about 3 to 5 business days after the live event. I'll be emailing a link to everybody that's registered for this with a link to the YouTube channel once we get it live and posted up there, so you can be sure to look for that. We do have a survey at the end of this that is certainly maybe your first exposure to how important surveys are here at Rollins and within public health. So it would be a huge help if you fill this out for us at the end of it. It should just pop up once the webinar is over. And then for questions, we encourage you to put questions in throughout the webinar. It'll be up in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. You should see a section for that. So feel free to type those in. We're going to go through the program itself, and then once we do that, we'll go through and read your questions and get through as many as we can here in the hour. The actual slide presentation portion of this is quite short. We really just wanted to design this as a way to have a Q&A session for you guys to be able to talk with our current students. So with that, I think we'll go ahead and get started. Just to do some introductions here, my name is Emily Lakemaker, and I'm the Associate Director of Recruitment and Student Life here at the Rollins School of Public Health. And I am joined by 6 wonderful students here that we're going to go around and do some introductions with. And they'll just give you their name, where they're from, and what they're studying here at Rollins. And then at the end of the program, we'll have the opportunity to do more Q&A with them as well. So we'll go ahead and get started. We don't necessarily have to go in order that this is. We'll just start with you, Lindsay.
Hi, my name is Lindsay, and I'm a second-year Behavioral Sciences and Health Education student from Seattle, Washington.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lauren Taylor. I'm a first year. I'm studying Health Policy and Management on the policy track, and I'm from Jacksonville, Florida.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Preeti, and I'm from South Carolina, and I'm currently a first-year epidemiology student.
Hi, my name is Aziza Mustafa. I'm a first-year student in the Behavioral Science and Health Education Department, and I'm from Denver, Colorado.
Hi, everyone. My name is Farida Bana. I'm a first-year Behavioral Sciences and Health Education student, and I'm from Stone Mountain, Georgia.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rebecca Filzame. I am a first-year Health Policy and Management student on the policy track, and I am originally from Brooklyn, New York, was raised in South Florida.
All right. So we've got some good geographic different diversity going on there, a little bit of everywhere represented. Okay, so to start off, we're going to go into talk about some of the different resources available through Emery's Office of Multicultural Programs and Services. So this is an office that's over on, I guess, what we call the main side of campus. So Rollins itself is across the bridge. We make it sound a lot further than it actually is. It's really not that bad. I think sometimes our graduate students tend to sequester themselves over on this side of campus, but it's very easy to access main campus. It's literally just across the bridge. But the Office of Multicultural Programs and Services is over on Main Emery, and they have several different kind of offices within this office. One of the programs that they manage is called Multicultural Emory, and really I think it'll just be easier to bring up their website versus trying to look at it on our PowerPoint slide. Oh good, that actually worked. That's amazing. So Multicultural Emory, you can see here there's several different programs that they have designed for students based on the different groups that a student may identify with. So they have programs for Asian Pacific Islander experience. They have programs designed for students of African American or African heritage. That's the Building Leaders and Cultivating Knowledge. There's programs designed for students of Latin American or Hispanic heritage. And then they also have groups that they're forming for Middle Eastern students. It's discussion groups that they have, as well as discussion groups for students of biracial or multiracial backgrounds. So within each of these different programs, they offer various resources or events. I know Aziza here has worked within this agency, within this office, so if she has any additional insight she wants to provide, this will be a great time.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Hope all is well. It's a phenomenal program. if you do choose to come to Emery, I would highly recommend visiting this office when you come in August. And in October, I believe, your first year, they have a retreat on the weekend, like for 2 days, I believe. It's called Intersections, and I highly recommend attending it. I went, and it was, I would say, life-changing and helped me be aware of my privileges and other people's privileges and how we all work together.
Free, did you attend that webinar, that retreat as well?
I didn't go to Intersections, but I went to the undergraduate version, which is called Crossroads, and it's very similar.
Okay.
We're all there together, like on the same campus. They take us, I forget where they take us. It's like an hour out of Atlanta. We're in the woods. It's really nice though.
So what do you do like during the retreat?
Oh, wow.
There's a lot of team building activities for one.
And get to know one another.
Right.
We talk about race issues, different identities, sexual identities, religion, ethnicity, social, economic status. There's so much. It's an amazing weekend.
Yeah, just designed to kind of help bring to light issues that you may not have thought about.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I really can't stress enough is that despite these offices being on main campus, these are opportunities that are for graduate students as well. It may be a mix of undergrad and graduate, but I think some of our students tend to think, well, that's over on the other side of campus and it's not for me, but that's certainly not the case. Anything that Emery offers is going to be offered for all students at all levels. So don't let that dissuade you from being part of it or wanting to get involved. So another part of this office is LGBT life, and you can see here some of the different options that are available for students that they can get involved in. We've got Queer Connections, which allows students to connect with faculty and staff and alumni and alumni in informal settings in order to assist them in becoming successful community members at Emery. There's a lot of different events. Out at Work, which identifies out LGBT faculty and staff that are here at Emery. Out in healthcare, same concept, just with Emery Healthcare versus Emery the University. And then Queer Eats and Queries, so that's an eating discussion group. So a lot of things you'll find around here revolve around food, and free food opportunities are frequent, I would certainly say. Yeah. So in fact, a lot of our students travel with Tupperware. Who here has Tupperware in their bag right now?
I do.
Okay, like every single hand went out. So, Lauren's got something to add.
They also have an event every Friday where they have a catered lunch essentially for international students. So if you're international, definitely do that because you will get fed nice food.
Yeah. And then also within the LGBT life, we've got safe space training. So that's something that they offer for students, faculty, and staff here, just to kind of on a similar vein of the Intersections retreat, obviously on a much smaller scale. It's about a 3-hour training, but really just to kind of help bring awareness of issues within the LGBT world and, correct terminology to be using, what not to be using, and just, things to be aware of when dealing with issues revolving around that and students that may identify as LGBT. Emery is very involved in Atlanta's Pride Parade, which it's one of the largest in the country, certainly in the Southeast. It is an immense amount of fun, and it's a really great way to come out. You can just come as a participant, but Emery also purchases, I guess, a spot in the parade. So if you want to walk in the parade as part of the Emery group, they don't have an actual float, but they all just march and throw out free stuff. It's also a great way to get a lot of free chapsticks and water bottles. So that's pretty much when I stock up on the year. But it's a really great way to get involved and a really fun thing. They also do a drag show every year. And then have various networking events and awards as well. You can see the Pride Awards there. So it's a really great way to kind of get involved in that community and see who else that you can connect with and use for support if needed. We also have the Center for Women here at Emery, and you can see all the different support that is provided through that. Things that I think are relatively unique, lactation support. So if there's mothers here on campus, if you're struggling with it, rather with trying to identify a place that you can go and breastfeed or pump if needed, we have plenty of rooms for that available on campus. I know here in our buildings we've got at least 2 lactation rooms. So that's, I think, pretty unique. We also have our dissertation writing group, and that's really open to anybody, although it's housed in the Center for Women. And it's a really cool group where if you're looking to write a dissertation, your thesis, or really any type of writing project, it's just designed to be a quiet space and to kind of help get you in the mind frame for writing. They provide snacks and tea and various drinks, and it just really kind of helps students in the guidance of developing time management skills to be able to sit down and write a dissertation or write a thesis. Because as we all know, that can be quite daunting to think about from start to finish. And then we also have our intimate partner violence working group. So there's a lot of different ways to seek out support for any of these issues that the university provides, and we're very happy about that and proud of it. So if you're looking to join a student organization, this is a relatively comprehensive list, but I'm sure there are some that we may have missed, especially if they're relatively new. They may have not been chartered yet officially, but these are all the different organizations within Emory as a whole. So again, these are going to be more housed on main campus, but again, it doesn't mean that graduate students cannot join. And in fact, you'll see some of these are specific to graduate students, the Latino Graduate Student Association, the Korean Emery graduate students. So there's a lot of different ways to get involved through these different organizations. They'll have events across campus. They'll do networking nights. They'll, again, going back to the free food, usually there's some type of lunch and learn involved with these. So it's very easy to get involved with these across campus. And if you're looking for something closer to home, these are all the ones that I think kind of are relevant to our topic today that are housed within Rollins. So we've got the Association of Black Public Health Students, which, Rebecca, you are vice president of?
Yes.
So we can talk about that a little bit more. We've got Students for Social Justice. Who here is involved with that? Anyone involved with Students for Social Justice?
I'm involved, but just not equal.
Oh, okay.
Member, yeah.
All right. We've got OLA, which is the Health Organization for Latin America, Jewish Students in Public Health, Rollins Students for South Asian Health, and our Queer Trans Collaborative. And so in addition to all the clubs that we just talked about that are across Emory, these are all ones that are housed specifically within Rollins. So these were formed by Rollins students, and the executive boards and members are all going to be here within Rollins. So we've got about 1,200 students in the program at any given time. So I think that kind of helps add to the diversity of groups that you can see here. And we've got probably about 15 other chartered student organizations, but these are the ones that kind of just speak to the minority student experience that we're talking about today. But if you are looking to join a club within Rollins, chances are there's one here that already kind of goes in with whatever you're looking to join, but if not, you can charter one. We've had a lot of Students for Social Justice and our Queer Trans Collaborative just got chartered within the past year. So if you feel like there's something missing or something that doesn't speak to what you'd like to be a part of, then just create it. That's a relatively easy thing to do here. So Rebecca, if you want to talk a little bit about ABPHS,
Sure.
Since you're kind of our rep here for that.
No problem. So the Association of Black Public Health Students, what our mission really is just to raise awareness about, I guess, the health issues that disproportionately affect the Black and minority community. We don't just discuss, I mean, the African American experience is our priority, but we also discuss anything such as like the Flint, Michigan thing that's happening right now. We just had a bake sale to raise funds for that. And we put on a multitude of events. We put on social events, we put on academic events, and we also do a lot of volunteer events as well. And we also do networking nights. I think it's just really, especially if you're new to Atlanta, and you want to experience that and you want to learn more and you just want to know more about what's happening, because we try to focus on Atlanta issues. But if there is something going on that definitely needs to be touched on or spoken about, then we will bring it up in our meetings. We have a general body meeting every month, and every meeting has a different topic, whether we're discussing a health issue, whether we are just having an open forum about something, And we're very responsive to our general body members, and we'd love to hear their opinions. And if someone approaches us and just wants to talk about something in particular, we're very open to it. So I would definitely look into that once you get onto Rollins campus.
Yeah, I'm a general body member, and I can definitely speak to everything she has just said. As a general body member, like, I feel really included. I feel comfortable every time I go to the meetings. I learn something new. It's a really wonderful environment to be in.
Yeah. So does anyone else at the table have anything else to add about various clubs that they're involved in here?
I can talk about Rollins Association for South Asian Health. One of the things to keep in mind about RASA is you don't necessarily have to be South Asian. Its focus is more on if you're interested in doing research or engaging within the South Asian community. And in the past years, they've had different discussions and panels on research that's focused on South Asian issues here in America as well as abroad in South Asia specifically. And so this upcoming year, we're trying to focus more of our efforts on being able to connect students that are interested in this kind of research to professors and different organizations in the community that focus particularly in South Asian health.
And then just to touch on Students for Social Justice, so I don't think we have a rep here for that, but they do a lot of collaboration with the groups. It's kind of almost like a collaborative group of all of our student orgs. And so they do a lot of work through that. And our Student Services Office, we actually are implementing this year a discussion series that we're calling Rollins Speaks. And our first session will be in March, and Rebecca already kind of touched on it, where our first talk is going to be on the Flint, Michigan water poisoning situation. And so that's a series that we have started out of our Student Life office, but we are partnering with student clubs to help, one, identify topics that students want to talk about. And these may be things that maybe they've touched on in class, but have not, maybe haven't gone in depth enough, or they maybe want to go more in depth and talk about some of these issues from a public health point of view. So that's really the main point and the goal of this, and it's really just a way to help unify all of our students and give them an opportunity to learn more about current events and to kind of give almost like a town hall forum of ways to talk about how this can, what we can do to impact it, how it's impacting our community, and all of the above, really. And so we're bringing in speakers from not only the Emery community, but from the Atlanta community to come in based on whatever the topic for that month is. And this first semester, we'll probably have 2, and then our goal, because we're just getting off the ground this year, and starting in the fall, we're hoping for this to be a monthly event. Lauren?
Also, just as a disclaimer, you don't have to specifically identify directly with any of these organizations to join. They're all very welcoming and opening to anyone who would like to support the causes that they're fighting for.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely seen in ABPHS
For sure.
And Students for Social Justice. Again, it's everybody that comes to that. That's social justice is certainly a big social justice. Cultural humility. These are big phrases that you're going to hear when you come here, and they're important issues that a lot of our students place a very high value on. And I think that you would certainly get a feel for that, really, just from stepping on campus day one. It's definitely a big part of the Emery values. Okay, so before we go into our open discussion, I do want to take a chance to point out some of the upcoming events that we have. So you can see here we've got several more webinars coming up. If you've been admitted into the BIOS or Environmental Health or BSHE programs or have an interest in, it doesn't have to be admitted, you can see we've got some webinars coming up. Those are going to be led by our department advisors, and we'll also have some current students in those departments. So you'll learn about the curriculum, practicum, internships, anything that you would need to know in order to be interested in those departments. For any ones that you don't see here, let's see, global health and health policy management and epidemiology. We've already done those, but those are recorded and are on our YouTube channel. So let's see, for those of you that are admitted, if any of you out there that are listening are in the DC area or New York NYC area, we will be doing admitted student mixers on the 9th in DC, March 9th, and New York on March 10th. So with those, admitted students have been invited to those, and they will be, we'll have alumni, area alumni in those cities there as well to do a panel and talk about their experiences after Rollins, what they're doing professionally as a career now. So I'd really recommend looking at those if you've been accepted into the program and want to learn more about it. If you're in the DC area, we'll be doing a graduate school fair there on March 22nd. And then we've got another webinar coming up March 29th, and that's more general student life. So things like where you live, how you found your apartment, which if those are things you want to talk about on this today, absolutely feel free to type in those questions. All of our students here can easily address those. But we'll be talking more general student life topics during that one. And then the big one that I really want to impress upon you guys is Visit Emery. So those of you that have been admitted, you've received multiple invites to this at this point. Sorry, but not sorry on that. I would highly encourage you to come to this event. You'll get a chance to go to reception with our faculty and dean. You'll get to sit in on classes. You'll take campus tours. Our financial aid office has drop-in hours they're here in our building during that time. Our student orgs host social events. Our student government will host their combos during that time, which is basically a monthly kind of happy hour. There's alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks and catered food, and it's just a time for students and faculty and staff to all come together in a very informal setting and hang out.
It's all free.
Yes, yes. That's the key phrase there. Let's see, we have tours of the CDC Museum during that time. Who here came to visit Emery? All right, so two of you guys. So if y'all want to kind of talk about your experience at Visit Emery and why it was so incredible.
Sure. So I was debating between Emery and another school. And honestly, Visit Emery kind of pushed me over the edge. I think it really let me understand what Emery is about and what they're looking for. And then at the end of the day, if it's a good fit for me. I think the sessions that they have are pretty meaningful, and if it is for you, I think it makes it very clear during that time.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, Emery was the only school that I wanted to go to. It was the only school I applied to. So it wasn't a thing that they had to convince me because I already knew I was coming here. But the great thing about it is that I was actually able to meet with people who are going to be like in my cohort. So just building those bonds with people who you're going to be with for the next few years, next 2 years actually, that was amazing as well. Also building those bonds with future faculty. So that was why I enjoyed Visit Emery.
Yeah. Lindsay?
And I just want to add in, so I could not go to Visit Emery because it was actually during my finals week of the quarter. But if that's your situation, definitely reach out to Rollins, because that's what I did. I actually came the weekend after, and I got my own like personal Visit Emery, and they introduced me to students, and I got to sit in a lecture, meet faculty members. So if you can't go, or if it's more convenient, go another time, like definitely reach out because they'll help you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, visiting the school, I think, is very important if you have the opportunity. And if if funding is an issue for Visit Emery, we do offer travel grants for that. Lauren, you got one?
Yes, I did.
I did too.
Yeah.
I went to Destination Public Health though.
Yeah, yeah. So we really want you to come, and we don't want expenses and financial status to be a hurdle for that. So between the travel grants that we offer, and we also have an incredible student body here that literally opens their homes to students. And so we have each year about 80 of our current students that open their homes for our students coming to visit Emery, and you can just stay there. So between getting free housing over the 2 days of the event and the travel grants that we offer, we really try to minimize the hurdle of finances. So that's something to keep in mind. Have people here volunteered to sign up as hosts? Thank you, Rebecca.
Host? Oh, sorry. No, I thought you meant like, are we going to be at? No, because I'm like in the process of moving.
Okay, so it's difficult. We have about 50 so far that have signed up to be hosts. So
SGA is definitely doing a really good job at promoting that and promoting people to sign up. But I was going to touch on what you said. I didn't get to go to Visit Emery either, but it was relatively easy for me to schedule a visit on another day, and I came with my mother, and they showed us. We got my own little personal tour. I got to meet some faculty and students. I didn't get to sit in on a lecture because I didn't have the time, but it was definitely an option.
Yeah.
But if I had more time, we definitely would have done that also. So if you can't make Visit Emery, even though we really, really, really want you to,
Yeah, that's the key takeaway.
Yes, we really want you to come. But if you can't, if you have midterms, which was my thing last year, then you can definitely come on another weekend for sure.
And then also, if you can't come to Visit Emery, we do have our final admissions information session of the semester on April 22nd. So those sessions are generally designed for prospective students, but the April one usually is filled more with admitted students that couldn't come to Visit Emery. So we tend to tweak that one a little bit. So that'd also be another great time to come because you get to meet with advisors during that time. We have a panel of advisors, current students, and career services. There's a tour. We do a good little presentation. So that'd be an option that I'd highly encourage as well. Okay, so with that, we're back at the student panelists page. I think we're just going to go ahead and open it up to questions and oh yeah, Lauren's got one more thing she wants to add.
Just on the topic of, I guess, religious diversity, one cool thing I found at Rollins is that they actually have a prayer and meditation room that's actually on our campus within Rollins. So you're actually able to go in there and do your needed meditations and prayers if you need to.
Oh yeah, and we have the ablution room too.
Yeah, sure do.
Yeah. I can't believe we didn't talk about that. Okay, so we're just going to read the questions aloud here that we have, and then feel free to keep typing them in as we go. But we'll read these aloud and go around our student panel and let them answer. And hopefully we've got like 40 minutes, 35, 40 minutes. So I'm sure we'll be able to get through these. All right, so Naomi is asking, are the minority groups only for graduate students? So the ones that are here at Rollins, yes. But the ones that are over the list that we provided, that was the more extensive list that's over through main campus, no, that's open to anybody and everybody. All right, Mindy is asking, are any of these organizations having events, talks that are going on during Visit Emery?
Yeah. Well, I can speak to that. A lot of us have been asked to table during Visit Emery. So if you do see an organization that you are interested in joining, possibly in the fall when you do come, definitely go over and talk to them and ask for information. We'll have e-board members there. At least I can speak for ABPHS. We'll be there for Visit Emery, and we'll have board members there to give you any information that you need. If you need contact information, if you want to know more about the process of becoming a member, you can ask anybody at the table during Visit Emery.
And so that tabling, what Rebecca's talking about, is on Thursday at Visit Emery during our student org fair that will be from 5 to 7 p.m. that Thursday, and that's going on during our student government convos event, which again is that kind of happy hour time that we talked about. It's usually outside if the weather's nice, which by late March in Georgia, I can't imagine it not being. Just please cross your fingers for no rain, because that will seriously complicate my life. But so we've got all of our student orgs will be exhibiting during that time. We'll also have apartment complexes that come, so that way if you're trying to figure out where you're going to live, we have some of our other resources from Maine Emory come over as well, like the Office of LGBT Life, Office of Health Promotion, Minority, or the Multicultural Office, some of the things that we've been talking about earlier in the presentation. So we usually have about 30 or 40 tables at this event, so it's very easy to get to talk to all these different clubs. Additionally, on the Friday of Visit Emery, April 1st, we will be hosting basically this same event, but in an in-life panel. It's our minority student panel. It's minority student LGBT health panel. So it's going to be basically this. We'll have different panelists. We've got different people that have signed up for that, but it will be a lot of the same topics. But even if you're attending this and Visit Emery, I'd still recommend you to come to that, because you'll get a different perspective. It'll be different students. So we will have a few ways for you guys to meet a lot of these students while you're here for Visit Emery. All right, Naomi is asking, is it possible to have your own apartment that is close to campus?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Who wants to take that?
I can take that.
All right, Lindsay.
Definitely coming from a urban West Coast city, I will say Atlanta has a mind-blowing cost of living. It is so low to live here. I have never, so I've been here 2 years. I switched homes both times. My first house, the first year, I paid $450 a month. I was literally half a mile away from campus. And now I live literally across the street. Like, I can see Rollins from my front door. and I pay like $500 a month.
I need to move these.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not gonna brag. It's a 4-floor townhome. I pay $500 a month. I have 3 roommates. I don't live in a 4-floor house by myself.
Okay, gotcha.
But there's definitely like single apartments nearby if you do want to live alone, and it's gonna be cheaper than like any 1-bedroom apartment you're gonna find anywhere else.
I can definitely attest to that because I'm used to the New York prices and the South Florida prices, which are ridiculous. And I live by myself, and every time I talk to someone from either state and I tell them how much I pay for my rent, they're always like, "Are you kidding me? Like what?" Because a 1-bedroom in South Florida could easily be $1,400-$1,500 a month, easily. And you don't even have to be by the beach. So by the beach would be even more expensive. So I can definitely attest to the affordability of having your own apartment. And of course, it's going to be cheaper if you have roommates, for sure.
Yeah.
And most of our students have roommates.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely to harp on the whole roommate situation. Me, like, moving from Gainesville, because I went to University of Florida, go Gators. But, like, my rent was about, like, $300 and something.
Yeah.
So coming to Atlanta, it was a little bit more expensive for me. But definitely having roommates offset that cost a lot. I live in a spacious, to me, it's spacious.
It is very spacious.
Yes, it's spacious. 2-bedroom apartment, and I pay, like, $500. So it's not bad at all. And then someone else moved in, so now I pay like $3 something. But yeah.
And you live with someone you went to undergrad with.
Yeah.
So you connected with connected with that.
So yeah, it's very easy to find housing here. Like students, no one's on the street.
No.
That's the good news. Okay, Mindy's got a question about, she's saying, I'm very interested in immigration and minority health. To my knowledge, Emery doesn't seem to have much emphasis on this. And my fear is that Atlanta Emery is not very diverse. Can you tell me about your experience with how much diversity is emphasized in your programs and how you are able to find work and research and faculty that focuses on this? I think we're going to have a lot. This is going to be a long question.
Yes, it is.
All right, everybody get started.
So, speaking to the part about Atlanta, Emery is not very diverse. It is so diverse.
It
oh my
is.
goodness.
It's crazy.
There's a community out here called the Clarkson community.
Oh yeah.
I'm interested in working with refugee population, and there's a Clarkson program here at Rollins, and they connect you with a few refugee agencies in the area, such as New American Pathways, World Relief, and Lutheran Services. There's just so much to do here. Buford Highway, I know there's a lot of diversity on that street. Go ahead, you want to speak, Lindsay?
Yeah, when you're done.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, chime in.
So you probably know this because you're into immigration and such, but there's 6 cities where they resettle refugees in the country, and Atlanta is one of them. And I can speak, I think, to how much immigration can be covered here in terms of health because I actually did my undergrad in San Diego, so we do a lot of immigration health because we have the U.S.-Mexico border.
Right.
So we have pretty much all the issues that I was able to focus on in San Diego in terms of immigration and refugees. The only one I say you wouldn't have exactly would be like direct over the border transmission, like HIV, IUD use, like directly like walking every day back and forth between the countries because we don't border another country in Atlanta.
Right.
And in Georgia. But you will have all the other issues here because we do resettle refugees here, and that doesn't happen everywhere in the country.
I know when you look on the Rollins website and look at the faculty, it can be kind of misleading. Like it looks like everybody just does HIV work, and that's not true. A lot do, but there are people who do different things here, and I've been able to find mentors and resources to help me follow my passion.
Right. And as far as research, I can honestly attest to that because I'm in the process of like interviewing for a multitude of research assistant positions. I would say a good amount of professors do research that somehow ties into minority health. One big thing at Emery is the socio-contextual determinants of health. That's actually the name of one of our certificates here. And a lot of professors will do research on what different things can affect health. And of course, one of those big things is socioeconomic status, race, location, etc. So it's definitely very easy to fall into minority health research, and it doesn't matter what your program is also because I am health policy and management, and they have global health projects that I've been looking into. Of course, there have been health policy projects that I've been looking to, but you can definitely faculty is very easily accessible, and you can like just ask them like, hey, what research are you doing? And more likely than not, it will have some type of minority health aspect to it because socio-contextual determinants of health usually kind of overlaps with that because that is a very big determinant of health.
Also, just like backing more of like student organizations, I recently went to an event that the Students for Social Justice had, and it was dealing with immigration. So definitely, if you have those passions, like joining organizations where you can kind of bring those issues to light would be a good idea as well.
And joining organizations also that do have these discussions can also connect you to organizations outside of Rollins and outside of Emery, like any type of nonprofit organizations that might be doing these research projects. We have a website called Handshake, which has a lot of internship opportunities and job opportunities. You can easily search for a research position there, and they have positions, like I said, that are at Emery and at surrounding organizations as well.
And also, don't be fearful to reach out to faculty.
Right,
on our website, there's a really good search function where you can go to the faculty. It's basically you can put in your interests, your area of interest, and it'll filter out the faculty that are doing research in those areas.
Right.
And so if you think you want to come here in the fall, it never hurts to reach out to them. I mean, no one's going to be mean. No one's going to say, absolutely not, I won't meet with you or anything like that. Faculty here are very responsive. And that's a lot of ways how students secure jobs, even more so than like through Handshake, through our job board.
Right.
It's really about that networking.
2 of the 3 positions that I'm currently interviewing for, I found through word of mouth and just talking to faculty. One professor just happened to lecture in one of my classes, and I talked to him afterwards, and eventually it just came out that he was looking for a research assistant to work with him over the summer, and of course I jumped at the chance. So definitely talking to faculty, especially for research, I feel is more beneficial than looking on Handshake. There will be positions on Handshake, a lot of positions, but if you talk to a professor and they tell you that they have that going on, more likely than not, you won't be in like a plethora of students applying for that position if it's word of mouth especially. So definitely reaching out to faculty, I think, is a big thing for that.
Mindy's also asking, what kind of work have you been able to do in connection with Rollins and underserved minority communities? I think we've kind of touched on some of that. I know, Zizi, you talked about your Clarkston.
I love the Clarkston program. Please check it out if you can. It's on the Rollins website. I forget what you have to type in, but if you Google Emery, Rollins, Clarkston program, it'll show up. I'm currently placed at New American Pathways, and I do tutoring services with refugee children, and I volunteer at Jolly Elementary School, and it's in the Clarkston community, and other people have been placed with refugee families. Some people actually go to the airport with the agency and greet a family, welcome them to America, and then take them to their apartment. And when they get to their apartment, it's already furnished. They've made a meal from their home country. It's a great opportunity.
And I would also add that if these clubs sound cool, but like maybe you're thinking, I don't know if I have time or anything, that our classes also apply our graduate level skills to serving underserved communities. I think it's very unique to Rollins. So for example, there's a class here called Community Needs Assessment. It's for BSHEs, but there's usually space even if you're not in the BSHE program. And you partner directly with a community organization, and you actually go into their community and you basically answer a question or solve a problem for them over the course of the semester. And there's usually about 2 to 3 orgs every semester that will focus on underserved communities, and then there will be like probably 1 or 2 maybe focusing on like hospitals and maybe larger organizations like that. So you even have a chance to serve them directly with what you're learning, which I think is a really cool thing that Rollins does.
And I currently I'm currently working on a project with some doctors at Grady Hospital, which is a local hospital, and some faculty members at Emery School of Medicine. And what we do is we kind of implement programs and policies into an area in Northwest Atlanta that's very underserved, and it's a food desert. So we're trying to basically improve that. So yeah, that's some of the work that I do.
All right. That was a good answer to a lot of questions rolled into one. Okay, Sarah is asking, what sort of disability accommodations does Emery offer? How developed is public transportation and biking infrastructure for students who cannot drive? Is on-campus housing available for students with mobility difficulties? Okay, Sarah, so we have the Office of Disability. It's actually our Disability Services accommodation is housed out of our Office of Equity and Inclusion. Allison Butler is the director of that and really easy to work with.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she's great. And so some of the accommodations that are offered through that, primarily most of those are based around like, learning disabilities and accommodations to help with that, things like transcribing or alternative media, maybe having someone read something to you. But if mobility issues are an issue, then you can also go through them for that. There's, everything here is ADA compliant in terms of ramps and elevators and getting around. So I don't think that would prove too much of an issue. However, not being someone that has had to deal with that, I can't speak exactly to that. But I do know that we're ADA compliant with all of our infrastructure in that sense. But I would recommend contacting our disability office just to kind of get a better overview of that and exactly what all that they could provide for you. In terms of public transportation, anybody here want to take that? All right, we got Prita and Lindsay.
You gonna start?
Sure. I take MARTA. I don't have a car.
Oh, that's great to hear. I mean, because so often we hear like you have to have a car in Atlanta, but you really don't.
You don't. MARTA, if you're social, you don't. Or like if you just like walking, figuring things out. So MARTA, I'm not gonna say is like. So most major cities have like the kind of public transportation system where you don't even have to check a schedule. Like you show up, something shows up in 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
MARTA's not there yet.
Yeah, that's true.
But you know what? If you just find a friend or two who has done MARTA before, which is, it's going to be more people if you ask, more people than you think, they're going to be able to explain it very easily to you. There's like a card you get, you can load money on it whenever you want, and it gets you sufficiently around to like most places near campus. In terms of getting all the way to the other side of the city, it might be a little bit less feasible, but
with multimodal, between pairing it with walking, biking, the bus, the train.
Right. You can pair it up. I think it's fun to do. It's doable. It's not going to be like it's not the best public transportation system in the world, but I will say people like should give it more of a chance than they do.
Yeah.
I think it's a great system.
You hear a lot, you can't get there on MARTA, but you can.
Right.
It's just a matter of Atlanta still is quite car centric, and we love our cars here. But it is changing. That culture is changing. Walkability is increasing. New bike lanes are opening regularly. And in fact, on our admitted student portal, for those of you that have been admitted, in the transportation section last year, we added some biking resources. So there's like a Google map that's kind of been aggregated by various cyclists in the community of like the safer places to ride. And I would definitely say this side of town is more cycle friendly because more people are used to seeing it, and there are more bike lanes around here. Certain parts of town, especially more in the suburbs, for those of you that move here, you'll hear OTP versus ITP. So OTP is outside the perimeter and ITP is inside the perimeter. So the city itself is inside the perimeter, and a little bit more dense, and the street grid is more urban layout, like the street grid, versus the suburbs where it's a lot of cul-de-sacs and dead-end streets and things like that. So I would definitely say biking is much more accessible ITP, but most of our students aren't really going outside to Sandy Springs or Alpharetta or anything like that. You're in Alpharetta?
No, that's what I meant. Like, you're not going to go, you're probably not going to go that far on MARTA or with a car. So,
and as far as local transportation, like Emery, we do have a shuttle if you live close by. So for example, if you live in Campus Crossings, which is it's a very, very, very close apartment complex that a lot of grad students live in. There is a shuttle that will pick you up directly in front of Campus Crossings and drop you off at Rollins.
In front of it.
And those shuttles are free.
And Emery does a good job of just filling in the gaps where MARTA doesn't reach if you need to get around the Emery campus itself. So that's good.
And another thing to add about the Cliff shuttles, they actually have an app that you can put on your phone, and you can actually track the buses to see where they are so that you can catch them.
Right. Download the app. I made the mistake of not using it my first semester.
It's called Translock.
Yeah, it's a good app.
Yeah. And it's like the buses are being tracked, right? So you can see
where they are. Because traffic is really bad here, and it's better to track it than know that the bus should come at 8:35 and it really might come at 8:47.
Yeah, so you're not like standing outside.
Right.
Yeah.
And in terms of on-campus housing for students with mobility difficulties, I don't think Emery provides graduates or professional students with that sort of housing. But
Yeah, there's no
Crossing.
official graduate
Right.
housing on campus, but Campus Crossing, what Rebecca was talking about, is the closest thing to it. They've actually partnered with Emery, and it's a private apartment complex, but they only rent to Emery graduate students.
Right.
Yes.
And it's about a half mile from Rollins, and like Rebecca said, the Cliff Shuttle picks up directly in front of it and drops one of the routes. It will drop you off directly in front of Rollins.
Yes.
So that's easy. And Campus Crossing is great in that a lot of our international students utilize it, and a lot of our students that may be moving like from across the country, because it's
convenient.
it's furnished.
Yeah.
It's furnished very
It's
Yeah,
furnished.
and you pay by the bedroom.
Yeah.
So that's really nice. So if like one of your roommate pieces out,
You're not responsible.
you're not responsible for their rent.
Right. And of course, the smaller rooms are cheaper, so it's good. It's good in that sense as well.
Yeah. All right, Sanal is asking, do most MPH students live in one area, or are students spread throughout the Atlanta area? I'm attending Visit Emery and will be spending an extra day to check out various apartment sites.
I think a bulk of students like stay in Decatur, but I know people also stay in the Virginia Highlands area. There's some people that stay in 5 Points. I can't think of any other areas people generally stay. I think those are like the bulk of areas.
But basically, sorry for interrupting.
No, you're fine.
If you look at Atlanta, it's a big circle, and there's a cross, and there's 4 quadrants.
Yeah.
Most people are going to live in that northeast
Northeast.
quadrant because that's where Emery is. So any
Right.
neighborhood in that quadrant should probably have students there.
Right. And on the Emery website for Rollins, there's like a map that kind of gives you like information about the different neighborhoods, because I looked at that. And all of those neighborhoods that they list are neighborhoods that people generally live in to reach here. So that might help as far as your apartment search, because you can kind of expand a little bit and not just focus on maybe one area. If you want to look at an area that might have better prices, I can say price-wise, Decatur is probably your best option. Decatur tends to be cheaper than a lot of the other areas.
All right. Cordali, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, asks, how difficult is it to balance a job and your coursework at the same time? That's a really good question. It's possible.
Very.
I actually have 2 jobs and I go to school full time. So it's difficult, but it's possible. I just feel like you really need to make sure that you have adequate time management skills. I basically told my jobs when it comes to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I can't work because I spend the bulk of that time really trying to study, get my school together for the upcoming week. So just making sure you have that adequate balance of time with work and school, that's going to be your biggest thing to accomplish.
If you have the real position, most of the employers through real understand where you're coming from, and they make a big emphasis on getting your education aspect covered before you fully engage in the work.
And you'll work like minimum 10 hours per week. Some jobs, there's a range of hours you can work, and it's really up to your schedule. So if you apply for a job through REAL, which is basically Emery's sort of federal work study type of thing, just to have something to compare it to, you go in, and if you get the job, you tell them what your schedule is, and it goes from there. So if you're only available to work maybe 12 hours a week, that's completely fine. And they're usually very flexible around midterm and finals. If you say, hey, I can't come in this week, I really want to focus on my studies, or I know that this position is supposed to be 10 hours a week, but this week I want to do 5 because of midterms and finals coming up, they're very flexible in that respect also.
I also think it's, this is good to ask any school you're going to actually, is what does like the class scheduling look like in terms of, are you going to end up being at school every single day? My whole time at Rollins, I haven't had a Friday class. A lot of people don't have Friday classes. Last semester I had 2 days off. This semester I have 3 days off. So definitely ask like how they're organizing those classes to get you time off to work during business hours.
Yeah, I think, and that definitely depends on your program, because me and Lauren as HPM students, we did have Friday classes last semester, but this semester I have two days off. So most programs have like one semester that's deemed their hardest semester, and I would probably say generally that semester will be the semester where you might have only a day free, and then if you have a certificate class, that might be on the day that you have free from your general program class schedule. So I would really just kind of look or ask. You can reach out to faculty or students or whoever you like want to talk to during Visit Emery and kind of just ask them like, hey, what does your schedule look like as far as classes last semester and your second semester? So you could, definitely, it's manageable though.
working and going to school was really difficult for me last semester. I came straight out of undergrad and found myself extremely burnt out. Like I was having a really hard time to the point where I got sick. And so it's okay if you don't want to work your first semester.
Yeah,
I definitely felt a lot of pressure from my peers, like, you have to have a job, you have to have a job. It's okay if it doesn't work for you right then at that point. And that was something that I had to realize, like, right now, working is not right for my well-being. And then you can get a job second semester. And if you still don't feel that's right for you, that's okay. Like, you will find something. There's so many opportunities here. I can't even tell you how many emails I get. A professor that emails out the listserv and says, I need a graduate assistant for this, this, and that. And you don't always have to have real if you don't get it.
Especially over the summer. You don't really
Yeah.
need real for summer.
Yeah, you don't need real for summer. Yeah, just know where you are in life right now and take it easy and do what's best for you.
That's good advice. Okay, Paulina's asking, I think we really just kind of covered this. It looks like a similar question to what we just had, talking about working and going to school and opportunities, job opportunities while going to school. So I think everyone's pretty much touched on that. They're real jobs.
Yeah.
So we'll move on. We want to be sure we can cover as much as we can. So Melissa's saying, in your opinion, what are the most affordable and safest apartment complexes near Emory? I don't know of any, other than Campus Crossing, I can't think of it.
Yeah.
Post
Harwood?
Briarcliff.
Harwood is about a 5-minute walk at Houston Mill, which is spelled Houston Mill if you're not from here. So that's gonna be, I think that's like a pretty safe area. It's like decent rent.
Anything really around the Emery. I mean,
Yeah.
we're in the middle of we're in the middle of the city, but it feels somewhat suburban.
Yeah.
There's a lot of trees, which is really nice. A lot of green space. We're not a campus that's like downtown or anything. So it has a very traditional campus feel. Kind of almost like a small college town feel. So you don't necessarily feel like you're in the middle of Atlanta when you're here. And the apartment complexes are all very nearby. A lot of students rent houses, 3-4 bedroom houses.
Very common.
I would also say, I honestly, like I said earlier, Decatur, I think, will have the best prices. And how it's set up over there, they have Cliff Shuttle, so they may not pick you up in front of your apartment, but they have park and ride. So everyone, like all the Emory students, park their car in a certain area, and then the shuttle takes you to and from campus. I have a handful of friends and associates who do that also because Decatur does have cheaper housing, and it's not far either. It's not like you can't drive. Some people just feel like, hey, if there's a Cliff Shuttle that I can drive to the Publix, it's like 2 minutes from me, and get on the Cliff Shuttle. I don't have to pay for a parking pass. So yeah, it's definitely not far. It is drivable, but some people just don't want to pay for the parking pass if they know they have that shuttle option.
Just to piggyback off of Rebecca, I'm one of those people who did not want to pay $700 for a parking pass. So the convenience
$660.
But the convenient thing was that I stay in Woodland Hills, and it's only about like 3 minutes from the park and ride that she was referring to. So I catch the bus, the Emery Cliff at North DeKalb Mall, and literally it takes like less than 10 minutes for me to get to and from campus. If it's traffic, if you're like going at 8 in the morning, you might take a little bit longer, but generally it's about 10 minutes to get to campus, so it's very convenient.
All right. And one last thing before we move on, for those of you that are admitted and you have access to the admitted student portal, we have last year's housing guide on there, and we're in the process of updating this year's. So the housing guide is really helpful. We basically survey all of our students, and they tell us how much they're paying, how many roommates they have, how they get to and from campus, and then tell us where they're living. And so we highlight some of the more popular complexes, and we've got like the rent in there, the rent ranges and things like that. So it's on the admitted student portal. Check that out. And then for those we'll have the updated one here probably within the next 2 weeks once we get that finalized. And for those of you that will be coming to visit Emery, you get a physical copy of that. So that's really beneficial and helpful. All right, Sanal's asking about the Emery Cliff Shuttles and if they run often.
I take the Emery Cliff Shuttle every day. I think the important thing to keep in mind is the app is very helpful, and usually they're on time and they're pretty reliable. Sometimes there's a few glitches in the system, and it's just keeping an open mind and making sure you manage your time and paying attention to the app. Yesterday, this rarely happens, but the power went out. And
all the lights were out.
Right, the traffic lights went out, and so I ended up walking home, which isn't too far of a walk for me, but it's just something to keep in mind that if you are taking public transportation, these are things that you may have to be aware of.
I live at
Oh, sorry.
I live at Campus Crossings, and the B shuttle always comes.
It would be important to look at the schedules a little bit. Some of them do not run on the weekends. Something I wish I knew when I was looking for housing is you look at the Emery Claremont campus because they have the shuttle. It comes literally nonstop and it runs on weekends and weekdays. So Claremont campus where the upperclassmen live. But there's a ton of apartment complexes all around that are, and it's so easy to walk to the shuttle there, and that I think would be the most convenient as well.
There's also a really great option that Emery has. It's called the Safe Ride Shuttle. So if there is a place that you need to get around campus and say the shuttle route that you would normally take isn't running, you can call them and they'll come pick you up. And you can track that shuttle on that app as well. So that's a good option. They'll come like all the way through the night. I think from midnight all the way up to 6 a.m. is when they run.
Yeah. One last thing to add about the shuttles. I know I was really concerned because I have some classes that get out around like 8 p.m. or like 7:50. So they do have some shuttles that still run until that time, so you're able to get to where you need to. And also another thing that I like to do is that typically around 5 o'clock, sometimes the parking handle lifts up, so you can
At
come
4.
at 4 o'clock, you can come and park at the garage right next to Rollins. So sometimes I leave and go get my car and come back around that time.
Yeah.
And parking is free from 4 o'clock on.
Yeah, and that's I do the same thing with the gym also, because even though I do have a parking pass, your parking pass is very specific to the parking garage that you buy it for. So if I go to the gym, it's like a less than a 2-minute drive from here, but and like after 4, it's free, so I don't need to have a parking pass to get in there to that garage. So I just drive there, and then I don't need a parking pass, so I just drive and park and go to the gym and leave. A lot of students do what Lauren said. After like a certain time, like if they get out of class at like 3:50, 4 o'clock, 4:15, they just hop on the shuttle, go back to their car, and bring it to the parking garage that's right near Rollins, so they don't have to like worry about whether or not they can drive home in the evening or like late night if they stay here for like studying, class, or whatever it is.
It's pretty easy to manage. All right, Mindy's asking if any of you guys would be willing to share your contact information for them to reach out to you after this webinar.
Yeah.
Okay, and with that, Mindy, let me go ahead and switch to this last. We've got one more question, but my contact information. Oops, I did not want to end that. My contact information is here, so feel free to email me, and I can put you in contact with all of the students. That's not a problem in the least bit. And our last question, which this timing is working out really well, Shiza is asking, what is something that you wish you knew before you started at Rollins? We'll start with Lauren if you guys each want to go around. Or whoever wants to start.
I know exactly.
All right.
I wish I knew about Campus Crossings before I started.
The apartment complex?
And let me specify. It's not that I didn't know about it. So I didn't know, because I didn't look deep into it. I didn't know that it was priced per room. So I just saw like the prices, and I was like, oh, I can afford that. And the apartment that I live at now, it's not far. It's just that I could have saved a lot more money living at Campus Crossing, because saving on gas, saving on a parking pass, just saving on just overall just furniture because it's furnished. So I could have saved a lot more money staying at Campus Crossing. So I wish I would have looked more into that and just not have been deterred by the price and realized that they price by room and not just by like whether it's 3-bedroom or 2-bedroom. So I'm moving there next year though. So.
Okay. You got anything there?
Not yet.
Okay. Aziza, you got anything?
I mean, weather-wise, I did not realize how humid it is here. And I cover my hair, and if there are any other women who cover their hair like I do, prepare for the humidity, because it can get, and I'm from Denver, Colorado. We do not have humidity. We have high altitude. We are in the mountains. And it was very hard for me to adjust to the weather. But from October and up until now, it's been good. There's been no humidity, so it's okay.
Oh, it's coming.
I'm not ready for it, but I wish I knew about the weather.
It's so funny that you say that, because coming from South Florida, I'm like, oh my God, the humidity is only 60%. Because it's so humid in South Florida. This humidity to me is like perfect. Like I'm like, oh, this is great. This is great.
Lauren, you have something?
Yeah, so the traffic on North Druid Hill
Oh my gosh.
horrendous. And I wish I would have known that. I mean, I love the place that I stay, don't get me wrong, But like from the time of like I think like 3:30 onwards to 7,
Yeah.
if I'm home, I don't leave home because it'll take me forever to get to where I need to get. So try to avoid North Druid Hills between 3:30 to 7. Honestly,
Another reason why I'm glad I'm moving to Campus Crossing, because in the morning I have to pass through North Druid Hills. So
yeah.
another reason why I'm moving to Campus Crossing. I don't have to deal with that street.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, it looks like it's right at 1 o'clock, and that was our last question. So I'm really happy that you guys could join us today. Hopefully you found this helpful. There is a survey that's going to pop up at the end. Please, please, please fill that out for us. It certainly helps in planning future webinars. So give us your assessment and let us know if there was something that we didn't cover that you would have liked us to, all the above. So with that, I think we're going to sign off. Thanks so much, everybody, for coming, and thank you to all of our wonderful panelists. And we hope to see you here at Visit Emory for those of you that are admitted, and for those of you that are prospectives, just kind of starting this initial public health journey. Please feel free to reach out to me, and I'm more than happy to help answer any questions you have. Thanks, and have a great rest of the week and weekend.